All right. What's your name, Poppy?
James Carl Richardson,
Where were you born?
Limestone, Arkansas,
When?
September the 12th, 1953. I was born at home, no doctors, had midwives, delivered. And back in, we had one doctor, served deer, Mt.Judea, Jasper, Nail, Swain. His name was Doc Blackwood, but he wasn't nowhere around when I was born. And raised on a little old farm there at Limestone. Growed up, went to school at Deer, Arkansas.
Did you graduate?
No, I quit quick. I got smarter than the teachers did.
But
I went to the 9th grade before I quit.
why'd you quit?
Got into it with the teacher.
You ought to tell it.
What'd you do?
Don't worry about how long I can run the video. Tell all your
Well,
stories.
We had this teacher out there. He had a bad habit dropping stuff in front of girls that had dresses on.
Oh.
And I called his hand on it, and he got mad at me and gave me an F for semester. And I got up to leave, and he said, "Where do you think you're going?" I said, "Nobody gives me an F and expects me to sit in their class." And when I stepped outside the door, the superintendent was there. And he said, "Come back here." I said, "No, I'm going home." And I walked home to Limestone. Well, that night, that night the superintendent come down there, Dad, and he begged me. He said, "Buy your books and everything." He said, "I'll come home and homeschool you." He said, "You just finish your schooling." And I said, "No, I'm through with you. I'm washing my hands." And a bad mistake. Should have kept my schooling. But then I went to work at, lied about my age. I think I was 16 then. I went to work at Ralston Marina up there at Springdale. At $8.85 an hour, which boy back then was good money.
This has been about early 70s then? About 16?
Yeah, it was about 68, 69 back in when I was working up there. And I came back, went to work down there at Kenner Boat, Knoxville. Worked there for a long time. And I left out and went to Kansas City. You know, I heard that song, you know, a lot of pretty women in Kansas City, I gotta go there and get me one. Well, I tell you what, they're just ugly there as it was anywhere. But I stayed up there 2 years before I come home. Come back to Arkansas. And I came back, I never went back to Kansas City no more. But you had a good job up there.
What were you doing up there?
I was a labor man for brick and block layers. Made good money. But no place like Arkansas. I've been a lot of different places. Florida, Oklahoma, Texas. Ain't none of them like Arkansas.
How far out west have you been?
I guess about as far as west as I've been has been western part of Oklahoma.
Panhandle?
Yeah.
What were you doing all the way out there?
Just running around.
Not chasing anything in particular?
Not anything in particular, just going. Liked it, I stayed. If I didn't, I left out.
What's the furthest north you've been?
Up in Colorado.
That's more west than Oklahoma.
Huh?
Colorado's more west than Oklahoma.
Well, I went plumb to Colorado, went through Kansas into Colorado.
Oh.
Just road trip, hauled a load of cattle back. It was registered cattle, insured them for $25,000 a head. Brought back 7 head. And like I say, just traveling, looking at scenery.
How about east? How far east have you been?
Oh, east. Down around Kentucky. Matter of fact, that's where my family originated from.
Where the Richardsons are from?
Blue Mountains, Kentucky. Blue Ridge Mountains, Kentucky. Came in here, there was 3 brothers of them. They all settled over around Red Star on the Boston Mountain over there. And Dad was 9-year-old when he moved to Limestone. He spent his whole life there at Limestone.
How old? What year was your dad born in?
It was 1908.
1980. So about early 20s when your family started here in Arkansas?
About that, because he's like I say, he was just a little boy when they moved here from Kentucky. And he was 9-year-old when he left over Boston Mountain and come into Limestone. And he lived there the rest of his life.
We're back.
Alright. And I was raised up, like I say, went around Deer, Jasper, and Kingston, Springdale, Rogers, Lowell, Bentonville. That's all we run around, and down at Clarksville. That's my cruising place.
Clarksville?
Yeah. Had a deputy down there, I'm calling him Barney Fife. He's about like Barney, he's always slapping that gun, hand on that gun. And when I haul you in, I said, well, what have we done this time to get hauled in? Public intox. I said, you think I'm drinking? I think you are. I said, have you seen me drinking? No. I said, well, how you know I'm drinking then? He said, well, in the front part of your Camaro there, said, in between the grill and radiator, he had a long space in there. So there's 2 cases of beer sitting in there. I said, well, any of them gone out of them 2 cases? No. I said, well, if I was drinking, they'd be busted up.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I'm gonna take them. I said, no. Where'd you get them at? I said, I said, me to know you'd find out. I said, back then I was 17-year-old.
Mm.
And old Joe down there at Aldous, you go down there, if he knowed you, he'd let you have it. But I wasn't about to tell on him. And we got stopped down there one night. They took Bobby Baysinger and Bill Breedlove to jail. I guess I was drunker than both of them. But they let me go on account of the state trooper. I knew the state trooper down there. He came down there. And he said, boys, you need to let these boys go. So they live in a dry county and it's a long ways. Either way they go to get alcohol. Little they didn't know nothing about the moonshine.
Wait, you were bootlegging back then?
Oh, son, you can buy moonshine like it's water. A lot of people made moonshine. There's an old lady out there on the mountain, Lizzie Lamilton, made it and sold it. But that was back in my wilder days, and then I got around, the Lord found me at the bottom of the barrel trying to claw through. I served the rest of my life for the good Lord.
How long has that been?
I don't want to go back to them wild days. My first old car I ever bought, son, I bought it hauling hay at a penny a bale. And it was a 72 that back. It was a 68 model, I think it was, Rambler Ambassador.
AMC?
Yeah.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
And it had an old 6-cylinder in it, 3-speed on the stick, on the wheel. That's my first car ever owned. And I bought it back in 70. It was about 3-year-old. I gave $185 for it. And I bought it by hauling hay to Penny a Bale.
$185 for a full-on working rig.
Yeah. And then the next little car I had was a 57 Plymouth Fury.
I've seen those before.
Had a
Pretty
flathead 6-cylinder, 3-speed push button automatic on the dash. Good old car.
What happened to it?
Well, I got tired driving it, made a cut down out of it, strip down. Cut the top off of it, took the front fenders off of it. Drove it around limestone everywhere, up on the mountain, just stripped down.
Yeah.
And then I got a hold of, I bought I traded for a Studebaker pickup. A camping rig. We was going to deer camp one night and the law pulled us over. And that David run up, a gun, he just big as yours, he just about could hold it up like that shaking in my face. He said, "You're under arrest." And I said, "What for?" He said, "You got warrants out on you." I said, "Well, you better go back to your car." I said, "I ain't got no warrants out on me." He said, "Yeah, you do." And nephew, old Jimmy Carlton, he was sitting in the back, Bobby and Billy. And old Jim said, "I have my gun right towards his head. If he's going to shoot you, I'm going to blow his head off." I said, "What did that done me?" I said, "You done been shot." And finally he went back to his car and called in and let us go. We went deer camp, camped out down Wallen. We had a lot of fun in that old truck.
It's probably one of your favorite cars you've ever had.
Well, my favorite car I ever had was that there 70 Camaro Rally I had.
Rally?
Rally Sportster. 1970 model. Came out with a 256 cylinder and I rebuilt me a 283. Beefed it up. It was pulling 385 horses out of it.
Naturally aspirated.
3-speed stick in the floor. High speed, it run 115 second gear. And I won a lot of beer off people that like that. There ain't no way that car run that.
Oh, really?
Got an old boy in there one day out there, he come off towards the nail out, hit that flat there where Cornies live. And I slipped it up. I was running about 50 and slipped it up in second gear and rocked down on it. Had that big 4-barrel carburetor on it and it opened up. About the time we got halfway through that flat, well, he said, "That's fast enough." I said, I ain't got it wound out yet. I ripped it up to 118 that day in second before I pulled it back high. 1 or 2 cases of beer off that old boy. Then me and the boys went down the creek and had a party. But that's before I met the good Lord. And then I had a little 64 Chevelle Malibu with a 427 L88 race, 4-speed transmission. At 80 mile an hour, you can slip it up in third gear and rock down on it and it goes hard sideways.
Oh.
It would run. Man. I bought it off of a drag strip. Well, it was a swap meet up there in Kansas City. Give $600 for it.
$600.
Drove it down here, kept it about 2 years, sold it for $800, $900. And then after that's when I got that Camaro. But automobiles, I mean, they just some get you there and get you back, the best thing to have. Like that little car you got, I think that's a good automobile.
Gets me back and forth where I needed to.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I need.
Right?
What about guns? What's some guns you owned throughout your time?
Oh, quite a few guns. Owned a 44 Magnum rifle. And then a 30-30 rifle, 35 rifle. And handguns, I had a 22 Ruger, one of the best handguns I ever had in my life.
Guns are worth a lot today.
Yeah, and a good shooting gun, good balance gun. But most and the best gun I like to hunt with is a 22 Magnum. I mean, it's just a deadly weapon.
Now, don't say nothing, no getting game warnings on you, all right? This is going on the internet.
I don't care if game wardens are knowing it. I'm just an outlaw.
I've seen you with your Marlin 22 mag that one day with them thinning out all the roosters. Just headshot after headshot with it.
That was with scope. It wasn't. That was just open sights too. There wasn't no scope. Yeah, I like the balance of a 22 Magnum.
I do too.
And there ain't no law against the law to kill roosters and eat them.
No.
If it is, I'm in trouble.
How many deer have you killed throughout your time?
Not very many. Not much of a deer hunter. They hunt me.
Hellfire.
You sit still, there'll be one hunt you up.
Well, how many kids do you have?
Huh?
How many kids do you have?
3 boys and a girl and 2 stepsons.
How many grandkids do you have?
14, 5 great grandkids.
Got quite a family here, Bobby.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I got a good family.
You met anyone famous before?
Anyone famous?
Or a person of interest, you know?
You know Willie Nelson?
Last guy I interviewed said the same thing.
He's been in Limestone quite a few times.
But how'd you meet Willie Nelson?
Old Braids, he liked to smoke that local weed. He'd come in and get him some of that good stuff grown in Newton County. I didn't grow it, but he'd come to get it.
What was the conversations like with him?
Not too much of a conversation. He'd just come in and say, there's the vehicle, drive it, come back when I get my rest. He'd sleep all the time, just about it.
Oh, really? Last guy I interviewed said he met him somewhere down at a bull riding championship somewhere down in Austin, Texas.
No, he'd come to our, down there in Limestone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Well, yeah, but I better not call names. You're gonna put this on YouTube.
Oh. I ain't quite there yet. Only 3,000 subscribers and like 1.25 million total views.
Yeah.
But you know, we getting there. Getting there. But yeah. You've already told some of your encounters with the law.
Hank Jr.'s been in Limestone too.
Who?
Hank Jr.
Hank Jr.
Yes.
What was old Bill Cephas doing over here?
Both he was come get some of that good rabbit tobacco too.
What was conversations like with him?
He just good old down to earth person. He wasn't no better than anybody else. He thought he wasn't no better than anybody else.
As one ought to think.
Yeah, he's awful friendly, but I don't know. It's just life. Had a little old granny. I called her little granny. She's a little old bitty short woman. She might weigh 90 pounds soaking wet. And oh, was she ever mean. But I'm glad I didn't take nothing back after that line, that British family.
How'd you get this land up here, Poppy?
Huh?
How'd you get this land on the side of the Grand Canyon?
Well, I bought it because my daughter was sick and I needed to be close to her. And at that time, I bought this place and moved that old trailer in down there Kevin's living in now. Bought 20 acres off of Buster Smith. It's all paid for. Don't owe nothing on it except taxes. Never paid every year.
Government needs something, don't it?
Yeah.
Always. How about fights? You ever been fighting before?
Well, there never was one to start one, but I sure didn't run from them neither.
Well, at your prime, you know, about 23, 22, how tall and how much did you weigh?
I was about 6'3", and weighed about 162 pounds, sopping wet.
About all muscle, right?
Yep. I've been skinny all my life. Now people see me, talk to me, who are you? I said, used to run around with you, you don't know me. I tell them who I was, and they say, you know, you skinny little old thing. I said, no. When I quit smoking, I gained all this weight. And I'm losing it back down now, but I ain't liking the way I'm losing it.
Yeah. I mean, hell, even your age, you're still a massive man. I mean, what are you, 80?
71.
71. My apologies.
Seen a lot of things come, a lot of things go in 71 years.
How much different is it from since you were, well, about a teenager to now?
Oh, it's just like daylight and dark. Kids ain't got nothing except electronics to play with. We went over at Limestone where I was raised at. Love's over 120 foot high, and we play on them all day at a time. A nurse come here the other night, interviewing me, and told her where I was born and raised at. She said, them big gloves in there. I said, yeah, I played all over them gloves in there. I said, Mom come out and have dinner ready. She'd holler at us kids, kids, dinner's ready. I said, what'd you do? I said, we was over the hill and we was home. I said, less than half a quarter there, you're home. And I said, back in, we could run like deers or rabbits. Eat dinner and then right back up where we go and play again.
Still dark. Well, what'd you do mainly for work through your time? What was the most you did for work? Like, you used to run bulldozers, didn't you?
Yeah, I started running equipment in 1977. And I done it the rest of my life. I built state highways, built specified roads for the government, done a lot of clearing for the government. And things are just a lot different now when I was a kid than they are now. The way kids is right now, they just don't have much to do. No wonder they get out and get in trouble. We thought it was a grand thing just to get a 6-pack of pop or something other like that and a bag of potato chips, go down to the creek. It was a grand thing. Nobody got in no trouble. If you got into a fight, by the next day it was over with, you was good buddies anymore. Nowadays you get into a fight, they want to kill you. They carry a grudge for 20, 30 years. And that's the difference than it was when I growed up. When I growed up, they'd duke it out. Best man won, and they're still buddies the next day. Wasn't no grudges held. But nowadays, they want to kill you. They want to fight. They want to pull a gun out, shoot you, or a knife out, and stab you, or something like that. And it's a cruel world we're living in nowadays. Electronic world. And I'm not on electronics.
I mean, I mostly just do it because, you know, I like talking to people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Not like I sit on my phone for 2 hours straight just scrolling through YouTube or Reddit, what have you, just looking at all the content.
Right. I understand that. But the thing about it is, it's just like kids don't have no way of having no fun no more.
Mm-hmm.
We got out and we made games and everything, just something to play. We used to have summertime when the old green persimmons get out with that big round. We'd sharpen off a stick. We'd always get us a good limber stick. Hickory's the best. Sharpen that thing off, stick that old green on there, son. When you slung it,
yeah,
it would raise a lot. But kids nowadays, like I say, it's electronics. If it's not something to do with electronics, they don't have no things to do.
Some kids, I mean, some people.
I think that's the reason a lot of kids nowadays is in these shootings and stuff. Because they play them games and see it, and they just wonder what it's like when it's real. It warps their mind.
I think so. It's more of the fact of the drive that you be in an electronic world. Despite the fact that we're so socially connected, most people my age are the most isolated at the same time.
Right.
Because if you ever scroll through social media, you can see all these people like, take for instance someone like me with like 3,000 subscribers. That puts envy and jealousy in people, and you know, well, I don't see someone being super jealous of 3,000 subscribers, but you know,
it's just
people
like,
with millions.
It's just like this. You turn 19 today.
And it inflicts hopelessness on that person.
I'm so thankful to see that you want to do stuff like this right here and learn about somebody's life and what they went through and how much different it is back when they was a kid than it is now. That makes me feel great knowing I got a grandson that likes to do that.
There's the drive for the whole, you know, electronics. It's really just driving people to, you know, the isolation yet again, because that's what all some kids only have, you know.
Right, that's it.
Tablets are like $30-$60. I mean, I've watched most parents wind up just giving their kid a tablet and make them shut up and go away.
Well, you can't buy a kid's love.
No.
You gotta earn it. I mean, you gotta earn a kid's respect. You gotta earn their love. You can't buy it. And that's the reason kids nowadays, the parents, both of them, they work to make ends meet.
All right.
And the kids just left alone. And they buy them these things to say, like, I love you. But love's not love until you give it away. And when you can give it away, then you say, I've got love. But some people are so bitter, son, it's unreal.
I've seen it.
And like I say, I go to church all the time. That don't make me any better than anybody else. I'm just a sinner saved by grace. And through life, sometimes Jesus might knock on your heart's door. And my advice, son, don't turn him away. Invite him in. I used to have a bunch of friends.
Hey,
And I thought they were friends.
I got those
But
there.
when I give my heart to God, some of them has been friends. But I quit my drinking. I changed my drink habits and everything. But today some of them still does that. They drink, but they're still my friend. And they hate it because of the trials and tribulations I have went through since I've been a Christian. They don't like it because you're too good a guy to have to suffer things like that. I can't find that in the Bible. I'll have trials and tribulations as long as I'm right here on the face of this earth.
We all will.
And this is just one of them. And I'll still hold fast to God because someday I'm leaving here. And I'll be back no more. That'll be the end of it. But remember one thing. Jesus knocks your heart door, kids. Don't turn him away. Don't turn. Welcome him in. And it's so simple to do. A lot of people makes it hard. But in the Bible, Romans 10, 9 and 10, sit down and read that. And it says, if a man believes in his heart that Jesus come and died for his sins, in confession he believes in his heart, and confession made with the mouth, he's saved. Church people try to make it hard.
Some church people are quite
Yeah.
judgmental.
Just like that one lady was talking to you, sister. You can't do that. Not expect to win somebody.
Can't live.
I don't want people to see me anymore. They knew the old J.C., James Carl, but they've never met the new James C.
Turned away from that past.
Turn away from the world. Matter of fact, the Bible's got a scripture and it says, be ye separate, saith the Lord, from the world and the worldly pleasures. It said, believe unto me, receive me, and I'll receive you unto myself.
There's pain and suffering getting rid of those worldly
Yeah,
pleasures. I know it.
It's things are so different. And if the Lord tarries, time you get up in your ages, the generations coming on behind you, if somebody don't teach them about the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who came and died on the cross for the whole world's sins, if they don't teach that to somebody, it's going to die off. And when it's gone, it's gone. It won't be back. When it first came into this country, there was a black man preaching on Isuzu Street in California. And then it spread it from there on back down in here. It's awesome. Because we just didn't go boom and was born.
Yeah.
God lent him youth to see what he could make you, bring you up to be. And he's done a fine job on you kids. Done an awesome job. Same way with Kevin. You kids is awesome, awesome kids. Just respect your parents. Nowadays it's hard to find kids that respect their parents. And that's the number one lesson right there. Respect your parents.
Y'all got any questions you've been thinking of? Anything, everything's appreciated.
And I met Harry Connor in 19 and 74 or 74, 75 when you used to come over to my house. What was that, a 74 Monte Carlo what you had? Him and his brother come over there and spend hours with me, talk to me. And that's after, I got acquainted with them before I quit my drinking. But then when I quit my drinking and stuff, they still come and visit with me.
So you know you got a good buddy.
My old buddy Howard used to say, how can you stand to drink that hog slop? He didn't like the taste of beer. He'd go up his bracelet back. But Howard's been a good friend to me for a great many a year, and his whole family was. His mom and daddy, brother. Only two of them still left is him and Joe. I think Joe, what, 2 years older than you are, Howard?
3 minutes later, I could read a lot better.
And Howard, he's 64 this year. So we look in the mirror, we're the next, we're the old people. Back when I was a teenager, I thought my dad was an antique.
How old was your dad by that point?
He was about 54, 55, and I thought he was antique.
That's almost what I think of my dad.
It just, age will creep up on you and you bam, it's got you. You don't say so then. It's just done got you. But I wouldn't trade my later years for all the years I've ever spent. I wouldn't trade them for nothing.
They've been peaceful, haven't they?
Having the peace of God in your heart is everything. It's just everything, son.
They got to where if they ever had any kind of coffee.
And like I say, it don't make me no better than you. I just hope that everybody gets a chance to see and welcome God into their heart. But that's what's happened. When I was growing up as a kid, Christian people went to church, they loved you. No matter what you done, they loved you. Nowadays, you're an outcast.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, God's coming back after the church. It's prepared and made yourself ready. It ain't the buildings you serve God in. It's the church. And when he comes after you, it's over. If a man ain't give his heart to God, they're lost forever. And I got one grandson. It ain't gonna be long I won't get to go see.
Took about 3 washings to really get it where they wouldn't smell, so bad.
Yeah.
Went to school, so.
When he was born, I could walk in the hospital room. And when I said something, that little fella started hunting me with his eyes. And when he'd see me, he'd start smiling. At 6 weeks old, they holler, your kid don't know nothing. Wrong, they're smart. They're smart. And I expect to see that same little smile on that kid's face too.
Do you want to talk about why you're like this, or do you want to avoid that?
Well, this is just a trial and a tribulation I'm going through. It's not God's fault. It's not my fault. It's just something that come up on my body. It's going to take me out. And I'm just going to be here until God pulls my number. When I was born, I had a number put on my life. And when that number is called, I'm gone. Regardless if I'm saved or I'm a sinner, I'm gone. And I would like, God said He would see no man perish. That's how much love He had. He would, no man would perish, but come unto everlasting life through repentance unto Him. And this thing is a repenting thing. But at times, Jesus will tug at your heart. And you'll know it. When it ever comes, when it ever happens, you'll know it. Don't run from it. Because I run from it. And then there's years on down the road, he tugged again. And I turned it away. In 1980, I didn't turn it away.
What happened in 1980?
That's when I gave my heart to God.
What made you come to such a choice?
Huh?
What made you come to such a realization?
It made me realize one thing. I was living my life going down the wrong road, and I was going down it fast. There's two roads. And you gotta take, one of them is broad, and anything can walk thereon. But the right road is narrow and straight. It's going to be few that find it. And you'll find it through life somewhere. God will beckon with your heart, and you'll find it. And when you find it, accept Him. Because I don't think it'll be too much longer. To God, Jesus is going to come after His bride. He's going to come after the church. The way signs and times is in the Bible is short.
I think so too.
I think it is. It's short. But until you reach age of accountability, you belong to God. And there's many different versions of age accountability. But Jesus was 12-year-old when He reached age accountability. And by the time you're 12-year-old, you'll probably run on somebody or watch their life. I said, well, there's difference in them. And that difference is Jesus Christ is living on the inside, that Spirit's living in there. This old fleshly thing gets sick, that Spirit never gets sick. This old fleshly thing will die off, go back to the dust earth, just like it says it will. But the Spirit's going to live on one or two places. And we have a choice. We can either accept Jesus Christ and the way He lives, or you can serve the devil and the way he lives, which is a bad situation.
It is.
But I tell you, I encourage anybody, if God looks at your heart, don't turn Him away. That's all I got to say, buddy. I love you, grandkids. I love what you're doing, Evan. Just keep up the good work.
I will. Change the subject.
What's that?
How many houses have you lived in?
And I'm telling you, we had these dudes.
I've lived in
I had exterminators for
2 in limestone,
every 3 months. At first,
1 at
we were
Nail,
every 3 weeks.
or Swain,
I don't know, several times.
1 at Mt.Judea,
Everything out of the cabinets.
and I built a house up here on the
And
hill.
anything anybody would mention, I would want it.
And I bought this land and moved this double wide in here. And I've lived in Newton County practically all my life. I've been everywhere, just trips and stuff, and going and maybe staying a year or 2. But I always come back to Arkansas. Only state mentioned in the Bible, Arkansas.
Y'all got any questions? Don't have anything to ask?
What about Ninny?
Ninny?
First thoughts, impressions, everything.
Oh, how'd you meet Nitty?
I met her at her graduation. Well, no, I'm gonna tell you what. Ninny and your Papa Harold, my ex-wife, and me were all friends. Camped out together. Kids was together, you know, Corey, James, and Larry, and I guess Chris, Evan, or Kevin down here. He'd get mad because he's the least one, and he wouldn't let him go along with him. He'd throw rocks and cuss him. But we was on the camping trip down there on Piney, called the Low Water Bridge on Piney. Diaz brought in Alan, took the Jeep away from an old camper shell he had on the bed, pulling it behind a Jeep. He was taking the kids Jeep ride. Well, he forgot about it. He came in and Reese and all the kids in the camper asleep. What wasn't on the Jeep ride. Old Diaz went and popped down on the tailgate of that there old truck bed, and it just dumped them all out on the ground. I thought this was gonna be killing.
Ruined furniture, floor, whatever. I tell you, I've done it so many times that we.
I bet you she'd still remember that if I mentioned it.
Do this room and set it up. Well, actually.
But we used to camp out a lot together. I know Buck and Margie. I guess longer than I know Lori. But my first wife and me were married before Harold and Lori got married. That long. Long time, Anthony.
When I went to buy my first bottle.
But
It's under.
Lori and I started dating after all the deal that happened to the family
Actually, that time it wasn't, they didn't have it on.
and everything.
Next time they did. Anyway, she was like, well, so.
I just
how did you
started living with myself one night, and I said, Lord, I need to help me.
coaches? So.
I need to find me a woman. He said, go see Lori. I said, my God, that woman ain't going to have nothing to do with me. So I went down there to meet her, and she was gone to a rodeo with your Aunt Sissy. And Jason was riding bulls back then. And there's Atkins at rodeo. She said, how come you didn't come on down to the rodeo? I separated from the world and the world of pleasures. I said, don't go there no more. And, well, it rocked on there. She had a flat down here at Tina, I think it's Tina,
Oh my gracious.
wedding. So I plugged her guitar and she didn't have a spare. I followed her to Harrison. She went on to Harrison because her other sister, Dina, had a son out there in the hospital with bad sick. So I went on out there, her Donald Jean, And come back, then you can go in the hospital and talk to her. And then she asked Trina, said,
Well, we took the vaccine.
you see J.C. said, asked him, would he come down and eat supper if I cooked him supper? I said, sure. So on the way down there, I picked a wild bouquet of flowers and everything, took to her. Stayed there till 3 o'clock that morning before I come back home. And then we just started dating. And then we went on to, told her, I said, when I get ready to get married, I said, I'll let you know. So I was waiting on an answer from God. God told me, he said, it's not your fault, go ahead.
Alright. Here's the last question before we close it out, Poppy. What's your advice for people? What do you want? What do you want your legacy to be, or what your advice for them is?
My advice is this right here. Seek God with all your heart at a young age. And serve Him with all your heart. Because nobody needs to go to that bad place. And that's my advice to the whole world. It's going to take a lot more to make it than people think so.
Alright.